But where do you get an Oreo? How do you get an Oreo? You know, people could see Jesus Christ just like you can see the Oreo. And people, they could touch the Oreo just like some people could touch Jesus. And some people even partook of the divine encounters they had with Jesus and learned much from them. They could experience, they could taste His wisdom as, you know, you can taste the Oreo. Now, there's a problem here. There was, and preachers oftentimes like to use a certain opening statement, but I'm not going to use it because I never really agreed with it in this illustration. There was a man, let's just put it that way, who came to Jesus and he had a question. And you're going to remember the story, I don't tell it to you, but he asked, what one thing must I do to what? Make sure I've got a place in heaven. And one thing that Jesus said to him, what did He say to him? Take everything you've got and sell it and give it to who? The poor. Now you know this is the rich man. And when he heard that expression, give it, get rid of it, give it all to the what? Jesus made a statement about your treasures in life. He said, whatever is your treasure, where's your heart going to be? It's going to be there where your treasure is. And when Jesus said, you get rid of your wealth, his thinking stopped. He was so stunned and so shocked, he couldn't believe it. That wasn't what I came here for. I originally came here to find out the one thing I needed to get into heaven. And now you're talking about my money. I'm a wealthy man. That's the end of his thinking. What part did he not hear Jesus express to him? Because of where his money was, that's his treasure. That was the end of his thinking process. Jesus invited him to be an apostle. Wow. All you do is get rid of your money and join the disciples and become an apostle. But wherever your heart is, there's going to be your treasure. Wherever your treasure is, there is going to be where your thought process goes. What he failed to hear was an invitation. You know where I'm going with this? There are a lot of people today that are receiving invitations from Christ, but because your treasure is so dear to you, you're blinded and you aren't listening. His money was his treasure. Now, whenever you have great possessions, human nature is to cling very tightly to them. Any time that you have an encounter with Jesus Christ, just like Nicodemus had, as well as this woman, at first it fails. Why? Because there's always three events in your life when Jesus starts to address certain problems in your life. Number one is a problem always gets exposed and you're the one that's got the problem. Number two, there's a condition that prohibits you from wanting to address the issues in your life. But it also reveals a fix. That's just human nature. Now Nicodemus, you got to remember, Nicodemus has got it all. And during these brief encounters that he's having with Jesus, divine authority is being brought into question about the Pharisaical beliefs. The Pharisees were attacking Jesus around the clock, trying to get him to break the Mosaic rules. But you know what Nicodemus is hearing Jesus say? If you've never heard this, pay attention. This is what Nicodemus is hearing. the sacrifices are no longer necessary. Jesus is saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father except by me. I am the only way. Nicodemus is hearing this. No more sacrifices. That's all he's ever done, is take sacrifice to the temple. And now Jesus proclaims a new way. Is this a new religion? Is he the long-awaited and proclaimed Messiah that his Pharisaical teaching has always instructed him? That Samaritan woman, she'd lost everything in the world. Her approach to Jesus is very similar to yours and mine. She went up to that well. You see, not to be sugar-coated, she went up to him, and I do this so you can get maximum impact. Jew boy, you want a drink of water? Let me tell you something, Jew boy. You don't have anything to get water out of the well with. You don't have a bucket. And you don't even have a cup, and you want me to give you my cup and let you drink out of it? Come on, man. You and I both know you Jews treat us Gentiles and Samaritans like scum of the earth. We're dogs to you. You wouldn't even touch us, much less drink from our utensil. You see, Jesus treated her with respect, admiration, and love. You can get a whole lot more flies by using what? Than you can vinegar. You realize what the outcome of this was? She went downtown and she told anybody that would listen to her, man, you got to come up to the well of Jacob's well. See, she told Jesus, this well belongs to the Samaritans. It don't belong to you Jews. You don't have any business being here. But she said in that town, you need to come up here and see this man who can tell me everything I've ever done in my life. Have you ever thought about that statement? You know what else we glean out of that prophecy and out of that statement? This is the first woman, I believe, to be a woman missionary to the Gentile nation and to that town to this very day. What a calling she had when she surrendered her life to Jesus. What a powerful encounter that woman had. Nicodemus, he's still got problems. He needs more clarity. You all know what a Pharisee is? They were the top dogs. They were the ones who held the high positions, and they taught religion to the people and to the synagogues. Their word was law. But it's now dark, and you know where Nicodemus is? He's working his way down a back street in the darkness to where he asked Jesus, what is it that means to be born again? A change has to take place in our lives. He was, Nicodemus, a rule. He was an authority. He was an instructor of the Bible to other people, but now he's asking Jesus Christ. This encounter that he's had with Jesus, the searing words that Jesus spoke tore his heart apart. You understand what he is about to lose? He's heard the truth. He's about to lose everything, folks. Now I'm going into the close of this message. He's been on a collision course with Jesus Christ. Now he's faced with losing his position as a Pharisee, and that's going to cost him his job, and it can cost him his family, and it can make him an outcast to the community. What a heavy price Nicodemus is going to pay. And we are told in the New Testament that apparently he made the right decision, for he went and asked for the body of Jesus Christ. Now listen carefully. Here's a closing. Back at the close of the 1800s and early 1900s, there were two companies. And man, they were buying up every bakery they could buy up. Anything that made mom and pop stuff, they bought up. They were called the American Bakery and the New York Bakery. But they were so competitive once they compiled all of their goods that they began to realize there's a marketing problem. There's competition. Who's your competition today? It's a fellow called Satan, who is the power and principality of this world. Now listen carefully. A condition existed between these two companies right now that has to be addressed for their survival. What are you looking at? Survival. You can purchase them in the grocery store today. Each of them knew there was a marketing problem. But they also had sense enough to know that there was a fix. Do you know what the fix was? It's called a merger. And when they brought this company together, they called this the National Biscuit Company. Now it's not New York, it's now the National Biscuit Company, and you and I today know them as Nabisco. Now, the problem remains. Pay close attention to what I'm about to ask you. Where did we get an Oreo? Where did we get an Oreo? We don't to this day have the first clue who its creator was or the man who named it. But they have sold to this date over 360 billion Oreos. Quite a survival rate. But here's the point I'm trying to make. Any of you in here today that's in competition with Jesus Christ? A plan was established for this company to survive in the 1900s. Even to this day. Now watch this. Over 2,000 years ago, another plan was made for you to survive through eternity. Do you need to merge this morning? Every head bowed and every eye closed. Father, again, simple message. But whatever encounter we've had here this morning, whatever is revealed, God, we need your fix. So give us the clarity, the truth that's going to displace the darkness and provide your light in our life. And then, God, give us the courage to make the right decision, whatever that decision is, whether it's an experience with you, Lord, whether we need to come before you in an altar call, if we need salvation by grace through faith, God, whatever it is, uniting with this church, whatever the need, Father, give us the courage to make the decision now and let that divine encounter touch us deeply today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hymn number 307.